We all talk about getting enough sleep, but how many of us actually, really make it a priority?
Yeah.
Today, we're going to really dive deep into the science of sleep.
Okay.
We're going way beyond those usual sleep hygiene tips.
Right.
And we're going to be looking at a really fascinating podcast transcript. It's like a deep dive into a deep dive.
Oh, cool.
But we really want to understand not just, how we sleep, but why. Why is sleep so important?
Yeah.
So this is for anybody who's ever stayed up late and then felt that brain fog the next day.
Oh, yeah.
Or, you read those articles about how to sleep better, but do they really work,
Right, right.
So today we're going to find out.
It's funny,
Yeah.
we often think of sleep as downtime,
Right.
as if our brains just switch off for the night.
Yeah.
But the reality is sleep is anything but passive.
So I've heard it described as being like your brain's housekeeping crew.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
What's actually going on? What's getting cleaned up while we're sleeping?
Yeah. So it's more than just tidying up. It's essential maintenance.
Okay.
Imagine while you're dreaming,
Yeah.
your brain is busy consolidating memories, like moving information from short-term to long-term storage.
Oh, wow.
But that's not all. It's also repairing tissues, strengthening your immune system, and even clearing out waste products,
Like what?
like beta amyloid.
Beta amyloid. Isn't that the stuff that's linked to Alzheimer's?
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
During sleep, this system in your brain called the glymphatic system, it kicks into gear.
Okay.
Think of it as your brain's dedicated waste removal system.
So like a garbage truck for the brain.
Pretty much. When you sleep, the glymphatic system flushes out toxins and waste products, including that beta amyloid.
Okay. So it's not just about, feeling refreshed. It's actually about protecting our brains in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely.
But tell me more about this memory consolidation thing. Is there any proof that sleep actually helps us learn better?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Studies have shown that students who get enough sleep retain, get this, up to 40% more information.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Sleep acts as a powerful, reset button. It allows our minds and bodies to recharge and prepare for the next day. It's like hitting the save button on all that new information that you've learned.
So sleep is basically like a cheat code for a better memory.
Yeah, you could say that.
Now, this podcast transcript that we're looking at had a really funny story
Oh, yeah.
about one of the hosts who's a neurologist who dreamed he was giving a PED talk in his pajamas.
Oh, that's great.
So that's like a classic example of REM sleep at work, right?
Yeah, exactly. REM sleep is that stage where our brains are the most active, almost as active as when we're awake.
Wow.
This is where all the dreaming happens, but it's also crucial for processing emotions, making creative connections, and even problem solving.
So it's like our brains are having their own little brainstorming sessions while we're asleep.
Oh, yeah. That's a good way to think about it. But what's interesting is REM sleep isn't just about those bizarre dreams.
Right.
Research suggests that it plays a really important role in, our social skills.
Wait, really?
What's fascinating is that during REM sleep, your brain actually rehearses emotional responses,
Huh.
which helps you navigate those social situations better. It's like your brain's own personal training ground for dealing with those complexities of, human interaction.
So hold on, if I'm not getting enough REM sleep, my social skills could actually suffer.
Well, let's talk about what happens when we don't get enough sleep overall. We all know how it feels, right? You get the foggy brain, irritability, reaching for that third cup of coffee.
Yeah.
But chronic sleep deprivation does more than just make you feel groggy. It's like running your brain on a hamster wheel. You're expending all this energy, but you're not really getting anywhere.
Oh, I've definitely been there. And it's not pretty. My decision-making goes totally out the window. Remember that time I agreed to a 7 a.m. meeting when I was running on fumes?
Oh, yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah.
But, sleep deprivation also weakens your immune system, which makes you more vulnerable to getting sick. It even throws your hunger hormones out of whack.
You know what? I've always noticed that I crave sugary snacks and junk food when I'm sleep deprived. It's like my willpower just vanishes.
Right. Well, that's because sleep deprivation disrupts the balance of these two key hormones. Ghrelin, which signals hunger, and leptin, which signals fullness.
Uh-huh.
So when you're sleep deprived, those ghrelin levels surge while the leptin levels plummet.
So basically, lack of sleep leads to a hormonal double whammy.
Yeah,
You feel hungrier, and your body's not telling you when to stop eating.
exactly.
No wonder those late-night cravings are so hard to resist.
And this actually brings us back to the impact on our long-term health, especially when it comes to our brains.
Okay, so this is where it gets, serious. We talked about beta amyloid and Alzheimer's earlier.
Yeah.
Are you saying that lack of sleep could actually increase our risk of developing this disease?
So it's a complex topic,
Mm.
but research suggests a strong connection.
Okay.
Remember that lymphatic system we talked about?
Yeah, the brain's garbage truck.
Right. When you consistently don't get enough sleep, that crucial cleaning process is disrupted, and that beta amyloid can build up, forming plaques, which are a hallmark of Alzheimer's disease.
So it's like our brains need that nightly garbage collection to, like, stay healthy in the long run. It really makes you think twice about pulling those all-nighters.
It does.
But it's not just about our physical health, is it?
Right.
I imagine sleep deprivation also takes a toll on our mental and emotional well-being.
Absolutely. Think of your brain as like this delicate ecosystem. When you disrupt that balance through chronic sleep deprivation, it really impacts your mood, your ability to handle stress, and even your outlook on life.
You know, we all know how cranky and irritable we can get when we're sleep deprived. It's like our emotional resilience just takes a nosedive.
Exactly. Think of it like a phone with a cracked screen. Things still kind of work, but not optimally.
Yeah.
Sleep is so crucial for regulating neurotransmitters like serotonin, which plays a key role in mood regulation. When you're sleep deprived, your serotonin levels can dip, making you more susceptible to anxiety, depression, and mood swings.
So it's not just about feeling grumpy. Lack of sleep can actually make us more vulnerable to, like, serious mood disorders.
You can.
But what about those of us who aren't chronically sleep deprived, but maybe we just have a few bad nights here and there? Does that have a noticeable impact?
Even a few nights of insufficient sleep can have a detrimental effect. It's not an all-or-nothing situation. Even small changes in your sleep habits can make a significant difference.
So even if we can't always get, like, the ideal 7 or 8 hours, squeezing in a little extra sleep can give us a real edge.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that sleep is an investment, not a luxury. Every hour of sleep is an investment in your physical health, your mental clarity, your emotional well-being. It's about adding life to your years, not just years to your life.
I love that perspective. Sleep is an investment in our overall well-being. It's not about being lazy. It's about, like, setting ourselves up for success in every aspect of our lives. But I know some people are probably thinking, okay, I get it. Sleep is important. But how do I actually, like, improve my sleep when life is so busy?
That's a great question, and that's actually one we'll be exploring in more depth in the next part of our deep dive. There are a lot of simple yet effective, evidence-based strategies that you can implement to improve your sleep quality, even if you can't always increase the quantity. But before we delve into those practical tips,
Hold that thought. We'll be back soon to uncover those strategies and equip you with the tools to make sleep a top priority in your life.
sounds good.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the science of sleep. Before we paused, we were talking about all the amazing benefits of sleep.
Yeah, we really were. We've seen how sleep can, like, boost our brain power, improve our mood, and maybe even, like, hold the key to living longer.
It really is like an investment in our future selves. But let's get practical. What are some, like, concrete steps we can take to actually improve our sleep quality, especially when, like, life gets in the way?
Yeah, well, I think the first step, it might sound simple, but it's really about, like, shifting your mindset.
Okay.
So instead of seeing sleep as lost time, try to view it as an investment in everything you want to achieve during your waking hours.
Oh, I like that. It's about, like, reframing sleep as something that, like, empowers us, not something that, holds us back.
Exactly. Better health, sharper thinking, improved mood. It all starts with a good night's sleep. And one of the most powerful things you can do is just establish a consistent sleep schedule.
Oh, I've heard that before.
Yeah.
But is it really that bad to, like, sleep in on the weekends, like, catch up on lost sleep?
While it might feel good in the moment, those weekend sleep-ins can actually disrupt your natural sleep-wake cycle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it can actually make it harder to fall asleep and wake up feeling refreshed during the week.
So you're saying it's like training your body to have, like, a natural rhythm for sleep.
Exactly.
Just like you have a rhythm for eating and working.
That's right.
Consistency is key.
Yeah.
Even if it means, like, sacrificing those weekend lions. So no more hitting the snooze button on Saturdays.
It's a small price to pay for better sleep overall.
Yeah, you're right. What else can we do to kind of set ourselves up for sleep success?
Think about creating a, like, relaxing bedtime ritual.
A bedtime ritual, okay.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that. What does that look like in practice?
It could be anything that helps you relax,
Yeah.
like dimming the lights, taking a warm bath, reading a book, listening to some calming music.
Okay, so definitely no scrolling through social media in bed,
Yeah, that's a big one.
which I have to admit is like my biggest downfall.
I think it's a lot of people's downfall.
Yeah.
But you know that late night scrolling? It's actually doing more harm than you think.
Really?
The blue light emitted from your devices can interfere with the production of melatonin.
Uh-huh.
That's that hormone that regulates your sleep-wake cycle.
Oh, so it's like telling your brain to stay awake when it should be like preparing for sleep.
Precisely.
Yeah. And speaking of things that interfere with sleep, be mindful of your caffeine and alcohol intake.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Wait, are you saying alcohol can actually like disrupt sleep? I always thought like a nightcap helped me relax and fall asleep faster.
Alcohol, it might make you feel drowsy initially, but it actually interferes with the deeper stages of sleep.
Oh.
Yeah, it leads to more fragmented and less restful sleep overall.
Wow. I had no idea. So much for my like wind down routine.
Yeah. It's all about being aware of how, our daytime choices can impact our sleep. And finally, don't underestimate the power of just your sleep environment.
So we're talking like the classic sleep hygiene tips, like cool, dark, quiet room.
Exactly. Make sure your bedroom is conducive to sleep. And invest in a comfortable mattress and pillows. Like, these little things can make a huge difference.
I have to admit, I've always thought of those like sleep hygiene tips as kind of basic. But you're right, they really do make a difference.
They do. It's about creating a sanctuary for sleep.
Yeah.
A space that signals to your body and mind that it's time to rest and recharge.
Like a sleep oasis in the middle of our busy lives. But what about those nights when, you just can't seem to fall asleep?
Yeah.
Like no matter how hard you try, any tips for those moments of like sleeplessness?
Oh, we've all been there.
Yeah.
Tossing and turning, watching the clock tick by.
Yeah.
It could be so frustrating.
Yeah, it's like the harder you try to fall asleep, the more elusive sleep becomes.
Exactly. If you find yourself lying awake for more than, 20 minutes, just get out of bed.
Okay.
And do something relaxing until you feel tired, like read a book or listen to calming music.
So we should avoid anything stimulating, like watching TV or working on the laptop.
Exactly. The key is to signal to your brain that it's time to wind down, not rev up.
Right.
Treat those sleepless moments with the same, gentle approach we've been discussing. No pressure, just relaxation. And focus on creating the right conditions for sleep.
I like that.
And if you consistently struggle with insomnia or other sleep disorders, it's always wise to consult a healthcare professional,
Yeah.
just to rule out any underlying medical conditions.
That's a really important reminder. Sometimes, sleep issues can actually signal something else that's going on. And getting checked out by a professional is always best.
It is.
So we've covered the, foundational elements of sleep hygiene. But you mentioned that there's, a whole world of more, advanced techniques to explore.
We did.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Are we talking about, those sleep labs that I've heard about?
Yeah, while sleep labs play a role, there's also many accessible and effective techniques you can try on your own.
Oh.
And we'll delve into those in the next part of our deep dive.
Stay tuned, folks. We'll be back soon with even more insights and tips to help you unlock the power of sleep.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the science of sleep. So far, we've uncovered, the amazing benefits of sleep and explored some practical tips for improving, like our sleep hygiene.
Right, those foundational elements.
Yeah, and you mentioned that there are, more advanced strategies that we can explore.
Yeah, there's a whole world out there.
So I'm curious, what are some of those?
Well, one approach that's gained a lot of traction is mindfulness meditation.
Mindfulness meditation. Okay. I've heard of mindfulness, but isn't that more about focusing on your breath and being present? How does that actually help with sleep?
It's about calming the mental chatter that often keeps us up at night.
Oh, okay.
Mindfulness meditation can really help reduce stress and quiet the mind, which can lead to much better sleep quality. So instead of trying to force ourselves to sleep, we can kind of use mindfulness to gently guide our minds towards a state of relaxation.
Exactly. There are many guided meditations specifically designed for sleep that you can easily find, online or through apps.
Oh, cool. That sounds worth trying. Are there any other kind of techniques that can help us quiet those racing thoughts at bedtime?
Yeah, if you're someone who tends to worry at night, keeping a journal by your bed can be surprisingly effective.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I can see how that would help. It's like, giving those worries a designated space so they don't have to keep swirling around in our heads.
Exactly. Just write down any thoughts or to-dos that are keeping you up. That way you can kind of release them from your mind, come back to them in the morning.
So it's like creating a mental to-do list for tomorrow so you can just like clear your mind for sleep tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. But what about, when those worries are like more persistent or if we're like really struggling with like serious sleep issues?
Yeah, well, if you find yourself facing consistent challenges, there's a type of therapy that can be really helpful. It's called cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia,
Okay.
or CBTI.
CBT for insomnia. I thought CBT was for like anxiety and depression.
Right. It is often used for those conditions,
Yeah.
but it can also be adapted specifically for insomnia. CBTI helps you identify and change those negative thoughts and behaviors that are contributing to your sleep problems.
Oh, so it's like retraining our brains to have like a healthier relationship with sleep.
Precisely. It addresses the root causes of insomnia rather than just masking the symptoms. And the great thing is, it really empowers you with those long-term strategies for better sleep.
This is all so fascinating. It's amazing how much we're learning about sleep and all the different approaches, but I think it's important to acknowledge that there's no like one size fits all solution.
Yeah, absolutely. What works for one person might not work for another.
Right.
It's about finding what resonates with you
Yeah.
and just experimenting.
So it's like a personalized sleep journey. Like we each have to find our own path to a restful night.
Exactly. And remember, like progress over perfection. Don't get discouraged if you don't see results immediately. Just be patient and keep exploring.
That's a great reminder. It's not about being perfect. It's about making sleep a priority. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's like the most important takeaway you want listeners to remember?
That's a good question. I think instead of seeing sleep as something you have to do, try to reframe it as something you get to do.
I love that perspective. It's about like embracing sleep as a gift, not a chore.
Exactly. Sleep is a time for our bodies and minds to heal and rejuvenate. It's a chance to recharge and wake up feeling refreshed and ready to take on the day.
Well said. I think we've all gained like a newfound appreciation for the power of sleep today. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the science of slumber.
It was my pleasure. Sleep well.